You can talk to yourself. It's fine. Right. I think can you hear me now?
Right. So I am meant to be having a conversation right now with the lovely Elliot Garley. However, we currently have no sound coming through. So
I'm speaking though. You should be able to hear me.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone can hear you. Let's just have a look at the comments. Let's wait and see if anyone jumps in and can tell me whether or not they can hear Elliot. Not that it makes any difference because I can't have a conversation with you because I can't bloody hear you anyway. So let's just see. Anyone is watching, can they please tell me if you can hear Elliot? And I think we might just have to switch over to just live on LinkedIn.
I don't know why people can't hear
that works because I just have no idea why you have no sound coming through.
My mic is working though.
This is quite funny. Elliot being silenced. But this is really annoying, right? I could say anything and you wouldn't be able to reply. Oh, okay. So Alex can hear. Yeah, Alex, can you hear both of us? Or can you just hear me?
Alex is going to hear. Hello. So there's two people.
Somebody tell me if they can hear Elliot.
I think they can hear me. Put in the chat box if you can actually hear me.
Come on, people. Tell me if you can hear Elliot or not, because I can't hear Elliot. And this is really frustrating. And if anyone is a StreamYard expert and can tell me why I can't hear Elliot, that would also be super helpful.
In conversation with you because I can't
answering the question.
Hang on. I've just opened it up on LinkedIn and I can hear myself through the other side.
I can hear both, right? So why can't I hear you?
Just have a conversation.
My volume's up full.
Listen through LinkedIn.
Oh, hang on. I've figured it out.
Yeah?
I think.
Just listen through LinkedIn.
I can hear you.
There we go.
It was totally my end. Oh my God.
What did you do? What did you do?
Oh my God, I can't even.
Tell me what did you do?
Such a moron. Honestly, I'm blushing. So
You're blushing as well.
Yeah, no, I am. Basically, I had to reinstall my microphone this morning. And in doing so, it basically has reset everything. So the sound was coming through the microphone, but obviously wasn't coming through the microphone because it's not a speaker, it's a microphone. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay, right. We're now, 10 minutes in, and I have figured out that I am a total moron when it comes to technology. So yeah, let's just park that one and move on. Anyway, Elliot, thank you so much for joining me and for your patience in the last 10 minutes, because clearly I'm an idiot.
People can just skip the first part.
Yeah, let's just pretend the first 10 minutes didn't happen. So as I said, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you spending some time with me because you and I have known each other for quite a long time now, actually. I've done various types of social media training with you. So do you want to introduce yourself and what you do? And then we can kind of talk about, how you help people and your sort of top tips for using social media for marketing your business.
So just to clarify, you're asking me to speak more, yes?
Yes.
That's my pleasure. I guess for everyone who's going to watch this live and on the recording. So I'm Elliot Garley. I'm a marketing strategist and social media marketer, training people in business how to market themselves through their own social media, get results, and help people go from the start to the end result with methods that I like to implement with people. And I'm the type of person to make sure people stay accountable and every week stay on top of their marketing, or me and the team help go and do it for them.
Yep. Amazing. Love it. So how did you end up getting into social media marketing? Because most people don't wake up one day and go, oh, yay, I'm going to be a social media marketer. Like, how did that happen?
You know what? I've always wondered how to answer this question.
Right.
In that sort of way. But
yeah,
I'd actually believe it, I never wanted to get into digital media or social media. There was never my goal.
What did you want to do? What was your aspirations?
When I was 15 to 16, I was studying English literature. And my goal was to be a sports commentator.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, and someone that does analysis, commentates on the game.
Yeah.
Purely from, I don't know if you remember, you watched the 2012 Olympic Games.
Wait, were you even born then?
Come on, I'm not that young.
Sorry.
I may shave, but there is something. I'm not that young. But in the, do you remember when Mo Farah won gold at the Olympic Games?
Yeah.
He was running around, and there was a piece of commentary in that because he'd done 2 races in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And as he was coming, there was a person called Steve Cram who was commentating Farah for gold. He's sprinting, he's pushing on, the legs are moving. That part there, I loved, and I just knew that I had to use my voice somehow and the way I speak to help work with people.
Amazing. Love that. So then how did you end up doing this? If that was what you wanted to do, how did you end up?
So it translated to me doing business and drama at the same time. And I went into study digital media in my qualifications. And I just loved the videography, the photography of it all. And studying digital media, I got to look at different advertising campaigns. And there's a huge one that went around years ago called This Girl Can. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Can you remember that campaign?
Yeah.
Doing the analysis on it, it was really bad because it put women back in the stereotype psychologically. Yeah. So highlight stereotypes and putting people back in the stereotypes. They did it wrong. And I just thought, wow, I have to get into marketing. I have to get into social media. And the series Mad Men helped a little bit as well.
Really? Why was that?
It's all around advertising, all around marketing. And then Suits, the series Suits soon followed.
Don't even get me started on Suits. I love Suits. And I know it's like that typical lawyer thing. And it's not a true reflection. I mean, obviously it's the US anyway, but like they make out as if lawyers never sit down and don't write any documents, and they literally just swan around having conversations with people. And it's just not a true reflection of what being a lawyer is like. But I still love it. It's just a brilliant series.
Who's your favorite character?
I mean, it's got to be Harvey, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Although Mike is up there, and Jessica for me as well. She's a powerhouse, but it's got to be Harvey because he's hot. Let's be honest.
True. Very attractive man.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? Who's your favorite character in Suits?
I'll give you one guess.
Lewis.
No. Donna's my favorite character.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Donna's my favorite.
Yeah,
she's the person that makes everything run in the background, but she doesn't always get the spotlight.
Yeah. No, she's a cool character actually. Yeah, that's fair.
Cool. But yeah, that's how I got into marketing and social media.
Love that.
The past few years, and actually, I didn't even start as a coach or strategist. I started as a salesperson.
Right. But do you think that has set you up? Do you think that set you up for understanding what it takes to actually get people in the door?
Oh, hugely.
Yeah.
After I did my qualifications, I set myself a 4-year rule.
Right.
Every 2-year rule. And in the first 2 years, I went and did I worked on the roads doing 70 to 90 hours a week doing line marketing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in high vis. This yellow, I was wearing bright yellow.
Nice. Snazzy.
And going around, and then eventually came to a point I wanted to get in marketing, and I got offered the coaching role, and I said no, I want to do sales, to learn sales first, and then I just learned coaching and sales through that, and that's brought me where I am today. Amazing.
I think there's so much value in someone starting from the ground up, because I started off as a legal secretary at the beginning, right? But it meant that I understood so much more about the importance of getting the basics right, that it then helped inform me be a better lawyer with a legal secretary, or just be a better lawyer, because I understood why, my file management had to be a certain way, and the importance of making sure that, that things were done properly. So I think there's huge value in people kind of starting from the basics and working their way up and learning on the job. I mean, I've always said that you don't learn to be a lawyer in a classroom. You learn to be a lawyer by being a lawyer, and ultimately that's the best way of learning how to do any job, I think, is actually doing it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. If you're not going out and implementing and doing the things that you're actually telling people to do or wanting to strive to do, you're never going to really get there because you've not no experience.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. 100%. So what are your okay, let's flip this a little bit. What are your bugbears that people do when they're trying to do social media marketing that you're like, no, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Is there anything that springs to mind that you're like, no, stop that straight away?
Yeah, huge. The biggest thing, it relates to everyone, is trying to cold sell people on social media.
Grim.
It's the biggest thing that gets me. Like, really, that is a bugbearer. When I see it, it's just thinking, how often do we agree with the term "people buy from people"? And we sometimes cringe. We hear it that much now, but because it's so true, when I see someone doing cold selling or a cold post and saying, "I do this, I do this, I do this," I'm messaging you this. You forget people buy from people, and to buy from someone, you need a relationship with somebody.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I guess that doesn't really count with kind of like the big brands in the retail space, because obviously they're not buying from people. But they have the benefit of multi-million-pound marketing budgets that it's about creating lifestyle, isn't it? Like Apple is about the lifestyle. It's not necessarily about, the actual product itself. It's like there's people that have iPhones think they're cooler than people that have Androids, and they've created this. No, it's not. How rude.
Every day.
I am totally cool with my Samsung. Thanks very much.
And there's some people who are lawyers and some people in social media.
Rude.
Listen, we all are defined by the things we do and what we have.
This is very true. But no, you're right. People do buy from people. And I have realized this. The posts where I'm talking about what I do without any context around it get literally zero engagement. The posts where I talk about something I've experienced or something I've helped someone with, like insane engagement. And then people know you. And you and I have spoken about this before. People get to know you before you even know they know you. But what that does is it then makes them confident to come to you and say, well, I feel like I know you already. I feel like I know what I'm going to get from you. So I'm ready to buy that from you, rather than, Googling it, picking a bunch of, if you're looking for a lawyer, for example, picking the first 5 and phoning them and seeing who you end up being on the phone to. You've got much more control over the buying decision because you've already seen what that person is like and what you should then get at the other end. I mean, look, I could be completely faking it on social media and just not be at all what I'm coming across like. And that does happen, right? People pretend to be someone they're not. But I think it makes a huge difference. And I've seen the difference in the last kind of 3 or 4 months, even in terms of people now coming to me saying, oh, I've been watching your posts for a while and now I need your help, or so-and-so has been watching your posts and they've told me to get in touch with you. The benefit of doing all of that. And I've had to do it for a long time. It hasn't been sort of like a week's worth of posts and suddenly I've got loads of inquiries. It's been a good 12 months now of really going at it.
Well, I ask you every week, what have you taken away and what have you done every week? But I've never asked you, actually, from the day I first met you, what's been the biggest thing, from a marketing social media point of view, what's the biggest thing that you've noticed and changed? What's been the driving force that's clicked for you?
It'll be the fact that people have started to now reach out. So I'm no longer having to look for work. It's coming to me. And that's a really comfortable, nice place to be in, because I hate phoning around. I hate presenting to people. I hate, I'm not a huge fan of networking, quite frankly. I do it. And actually, once I'm there and I'm in it and I'm having conversations, I'm fine. But the idea of it is like, oh no, this is just ick. I don't want to ever feel like I have to sell myself to somebody. I much prefer, what would you call it, inbound, where I'm basically saying, this is me, this is what I offer. If it's something that you think that you need or would like to buy, then please have a conversation with me and we can figure out whether we're the right fit. That's way more comfortable than having to look for clients and kind of, this whole sort of cold selling malarkey. I mean, I get so many DMs now on LinkedIn, basically just connect, send me a DM to sell me something. I'm like, seriously? And I've just stopped replying to them. I used to be really polite and just be like, oh, really sorry, I'm not interested at this time. I don't even reply anymore, because it's like, if I would spend probably the best part of an hour a day replying to these people, trying to cold sell me something.
There's a reason for why people message you and actually engage with you, is because you do one of the best things right, which others don't.
Which is what?
You sell through storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. I think a lot of people who I've heard so many different people in our space, and especially marketers and social media marketers and people, influencers and such, and all these people are saying so many ideas, but marketing is really one thing. It's making sure people understand who you are when they think of a service.
Right. Okay.
And the best way to do that is sell through storytelling and people understanding the person and then the brand and then the business, and then they know the service for when they need it.
So by storytelling, you don't just mean me going, right, I had this client and this is how we helped them. It's all of it. It's the values of the business. It's what you can expect from the journey, the kind of customer experience. It's, it's all of that. It's not just me telling a story about a client I helped.
Yeah, it's all of it. Think about politicians. All of their values have to be put onto show for people to buy into them, to vote them in.
Yeah.
You compare a person in social media, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
You showcase your values, your story behind it, and that makes up a part of your value proposition for people to buy into.
Right.
And
I mean, how many times? So because you said to me the other day, sorry to interrupt, you said to me the other day about how many times someone has to be exposed to you as a brand or a business in order for them to actually then be in a buying position. What was it, like 7 to 12 times or something?
So it's a range for someone to recognize who you are. Over the past couple of years, what stood out to me is it takes 5 to 7 times for a person to recognize your brand.
Okay.
That's recognition.
Right.
It takes, and I remember listening to an action coach as well, and him saying that it takes 7 to 12 times for someone to psychologically buy from you.
And is this from cold to?
This is right from working.
Like you had no knowledge.
Right.
Okay.
Down funnel.
So explain to me what a funnel is for people that are watching that don't know what one of those is.
So funnel is something where it's kind of a journey, a buyer's journey. You're making people aware about who you are and what you do at the top. Then you get people, say, considering you, which is the next stage. That's considering who you are and what you do and how that might help them. So they're considering what's an offer.
Yeah.
After learning and awareness about who you are, and then you've got a few sections, but really got that intent to buy. That's when you build a sense of urgency.
Right.
And the last part is converting. What a funnel is taking people from understanding you to considering you to giving that urgency to buy and then converting them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you make it sound so simple, right? But it's not. I mean, this is something I've learned over the last 18 months. Marketing is massive, and there's so many moving parts to it, and you can get it so wrong, and it's really easy to get it wrong, and then to try and undo the crap that you've created is actually quite difficult. And I think one of the things that I have learned over the last 18 months is that strategy is really important. And I don't mean like, I'm going to post, 15 posts in the next 3 weeks and this is what they're going to be, because I don't necessarily work like that. I tend to like to do things a bit more ad hoc. But I mean, in terms of being clear about who you're talking to, what you're saying, why you're saying it, I think we had a session, and I think one of the things that came out of it was, okay, well, that's all very well that you've come up with that idea, but so what? So like, who are you talking to? What is that? And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is actually don't just post for the sake of posting. Actually understand why you're saying what you're saying and for what reason. And are you saying it? What is it? Educate, entertain, and what was the other one?
It was inspire. Careful, that's trademarked, not by me, so I can't use that.
We didn't say that.
Careful. I know that's a lawyer thing. I can't use trademark things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not what I'm saying. That's from my previous employers. I will, credit them.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. If they own the trademark, then absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, that's their thing, and but I agree with it. Like good ideas come from anywhere and everywhere. But I think the main thing is when you're trying to get people to understand you, the main thing is just having a target. Have a certain target of who you want to speak to, create an offer for the target, and then build the material and the copy to support the offer. Yeah,
absolutely, for sure. And that's it, isn't it? It's just about it's understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Hugely. But I had a session with someone the other day, and it was all around campaigns, and they created goals, but they've not created any starter things to it.
What do you mean by that? What does that mean?
In terms of, there's going to be you and loads of business people, everyone that might watch this, and they all create goals at the start of every quarter, every year, every 6 months. But there's things to support that. Yeah. In terms of, in marketing social, someone creates goals of the campaign for 3 months.
Right.
But then they don't think of, there's keyword planning. What keywords relate to that
Yeah.
campaign for every month?
Yeah.
And
And it does make a difference. That, like, the whole keyword planning thing does make a difference, because I said to you, I very much focused on one particular subject on my website and on my social medias, and started to get more inquiries in relation to that particular subject. So it does work.
Which
Terms and conditions.
It was terms and conditions. I remember I asked you, what was it? The top 3 things people come to you with.
Yeah. I know you're going to ask me again now, aren't you?
Well, go on. For the sake of everyone watching, what's the top 3 things a lawyer gets?
It will be things like, are my terms and conditions enforceable? Are they okay? And often it'll be things like, I don't actually have any. Do I need some? And it's like, well, you don't have to have them, but ideally you set out the terms upon which your relationship is based, so that everybody knows what the expectation is. But yeah, it does make a difference if you stick to one subject. If that's the type of work you want to have, just stick to it and talk about it. And not every single post, you don't have to kind of like have verbal diarrhea about it for a month, but just make sure that it is a theme within the posts that you are doing, filtered in with the other slightly more interesting stuff. Because I think that was the thing that I was concerned about, was only sticking to one thing and it becoming really boring. But it was like, but you don't have to just talk about that one thing. It just has to be integrated into that month's theme. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I've taken away from working with someone like you, is actually just making sure that you know why you're doing it, what you're doing and why you're doing it, for sure.
Yeah, hugely. I mean, at first I did appreciate the nice kind words. But I guess the other thing is, lots of people don't realize that you're not always just offering one thing. There's different parts of it. And if you break down a campaign, for example, like terms and conditions, there's your campaign. But what are all the topics within terms and conditions?
Yeah.
How wide can you go with that? It's huge. And that's the kind of thing people don't understand. And that's why I said to you last week or the week before, when was it? It was the typical thing. Lots of people know what, why, how, and when.
Yeah. That was on Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. We were about it. But everyone knows it, but you can apply that to social media and marketing.
Yeah.
Terms and conditions. I mean, this is something that you could do after this, particularly. I'm not adding any extra homework for next week.
Give me more to do.
But for terms and conditions, like what, why, how, and when, you could think, okay, what is terms and conditions for businesses?
Yeah.
Why should people need to have a look at the terms and conditions every year, see if they've changed?
Yeah.
How terms and conditions can work for your business and help you win more business, for example. Yeah. Just small little things like that. And the last one, when do you need a lawyer to look at your terms and conditions?
Yeah.
Support that with statistics every 3 years, 4 years, a year.
So just say those again for people that might have missed what you said. Who, what, why, when, and how.
What, why, how, and when. Those main 4 things. They're not mine. I didn't create those, but it's something we all know we don't use enough. What, why, how, and when. Yeah. They're your topics you can create with any campaign.
Yeah. Love it. I love it. So we've talked about your bugbears. Are there any others before we move on? Because it was just that one, wasn't it? Cold calling.
Oh, cold calling probably isn't the biggest one. It's the most common one we see. But me personally, a bugbear is, I guess, people not every time someone goes and creates something for an audience, you with your audience, your connections, me with mine, me and you, when you're trying to talk to people and you're trying to win business, we're not giving people value.
Yeah.
The idea
so I've been, sorry to interrupt you, but I've been really keen on this, because I've been like, do you know what? If I can help somebody by just, a 2-minute video, why would I not do that? Right? Because they're probably not going to come to me to pay me. And actually, if I over deliver, then they'll want to come to me when they really need something. So I was like, I don't understand why more people aren't doing this. Why are more people not doing that?
What do you think makes successful people?
Oh God, that's a bit profound. Define success.
Successful as in they're getting fulfillment in what they're doing.
I don't know. I guess they would do things that instinctively felt like the right thing to do.
Good. Great point. The one thing that I determine is that if you're trying to build yourself up and you're trying to be successful, give all your information away for free, so everyone has the tools to do what you can do. So then they know that you've given them as that authority those tools.
Yeah.
They'll come back to you because they can't do it.
I mean, I think that's a little bit difficult with law.
Yeah.
Just because of how complex it is and how nuanced it is, you know, because you've got statute and you've got case law, and also case law can be challenged, right? So I think there's a ceiling to what I can give away that people can do for themselves. There's a lot that I think lawyers haven't given away that they could, that people can do themselves. And I will always say to a client, look, actually, I think you can do this yourself. Just go over there and there's the answer, you know, because I just would never feel right taking money from someone that I knew that they could actually just deal with themselves. So I do agree with you, but I think there are probably some professions that actually you can't give away everything because it's so vast, and also you're actually putting someone at risk giving it away and them using it incorrectly, for example.
Yeah, I guess to word it a bit more refined is that give everything that free that applies to the person.
Right. Yeah.
For example, if you think of these people with huge followings on social media and TikTok and LinkedIn, let's talk about LinkedIn. This is one of the main platforms for you.
Yeah.
Everyone gives your information away and they publicize it.
Yeah.
But don't forget, that's what the algorithms are there for.
Yeah.
You can't give everything away for free because the key words with these algorithms is they're going to suggest that certain type of content to a certain type of person.
Yes. Yeah.
So out of all the free resources you've given, you're going and gathering different audiences.
Yeah.
Which are not going to see everything, get overwhelmed by all these services. They're going to see the stuff that is applicable to them.
Yeah. So just touching on the algorithm then, because we're all like, the algorithm is like this like beast that we all think controls everything. Like, is there a way to manipulate the algorithm? Can you are there things that you can do that will ensure that your content is curated to certain people? Like, is there anything that can be done, or has the algorithm just got a mind of its own and you're never going to be able to control it?
A bit both, to be honest.
Okay.
There is two things I recommend. First thing is be consistent. If what you mentioned earlier about people recognizing you, if people are going to have to see you 5 to 7 times and 7 to 12 times to buy from you,
I feel sorry for them.
Post regularly.
Yeah.
Let people see you regularly. And the next part is those algorithms, if you want to educate them how you want in your favor, you've got to use certain keywords that relate you to your target audience.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Someone just put something in the comment.
Yeah, so I've just said have a give first attitude and then take time to listen to what comes back. Yeah, Chris is so right. Yeah.
It's true. How have you got to have a first attitude? I can't remember where I was going with that point there.
Algorithm, is it a beast? Yeah, sorry. Is it a beast of its own right? Or can you actually control it? And you said, yes, you can. There are certain things you can do.
You can do certain things. Number one thing is they don't keep everything to themselves. If you look at LinkedIn, they recommend 10 partners to schedule their content.
Oh, really?
It's on LinkedIn's help desk. They recommend 10 companies to schedule content with, and not one of them is Canva.
So presumably then that content will get pushed out more than, say, if you used one that isn't on the list.
Hugely. But the difference is a platform will suppress you if you schedule content anyway.
Oh, really? Regardless of where you put it?
Well, yeah, because I think if you're off LinkedIn, you're going to make money if people are being proactive and engaging in your platform. That LinkedIn is going to make money. If you're scheduling on a different platform, are you being active and making LinkedIn money? Yeah,
no, that's true. Actually, everything that they do, they want to pull you onto the platform so you spend longer on there. And actually, if you're scheduling your content, you're not on the platform. Yeah, that's such a good point.
Grab your phone. Take a look. What notifications are there?
I don't have any notifications on mine. I've literally got WhatsApp. Yeah, no, I don't. None of all of my social media, I have no. WhatsApp is the only one that has notifications on. Text messages and phone calls. That's it.
So why are you getting those notifications is the question.
What do you mean, why?
Why are you getting notifications? What are those
phone calls? Phone calls, obviously, because clients phone me, the kids phone me, my husband phones me. I need those, right?
It's text messages. You to use the app.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I highly recommend turning them off. Like, turn them off, because actually it's a massive distraction.
Yeah, I would have a work value.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so we are a bit limited on time because both of us have got a meeting at 2:30. So let's try and kind of wrap this up in 10 minutes. Tell me about how does someone get started with social media marketing? Because it's massive, right? I think we all think it's just posting on social media sometimes, and it's not. So if someone was completely new to social media marketing, how would you start them off in kind of educating them to use the platforms for their benefit from a business context? So from actually building their business awareness.
From a business context,
yeah,
to start on socials, create your pages and give a bit of time. Like, I want to use TikTok as a great example.
Yeah.
Huge example. Now, people that say it's just kids with dancing. Not true. You have to give a platform a certain amount of time when you create a page, but you go follow some pages that you show interest in that relates to your business. Go like and comment on some posts that engage your business to them. That gives value and gets value from. Then the algorithms are going to understand what you're trying to achieve, and then when you start creating content, it's going to push to those certain people.
Right. So do you think they should start on all the platforms, or do you think they should pick one? Because I know there's a bit of debate about whether or not you should be everywhere or just one initially.
I would always go where your target audience is. It's the typical thing in all sales and all things marketing. Where the space is, you go. Yeah. If you're feeling that, I'm going to be maybe a little bit ageist here, for example. If I want to go and work with business owners, particularly who have got money and engage on a certain platform, it's going to be LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because it's a business network. It's a place of community for business-like people.
Yeah.
If I want to start up as a business and go and engage, I'm going to go and engage there.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend LinkedIn as a big one. But then if you'll do like nails, hair and beauty, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Facebook's great for community. It's the number one, in fact. I work with a rail company and we focused on LinkedIn. He might even watch this, I'm not sure. Letting all those secrets out. But LinkedIn was huge, but they've had more business come through Facebook groups because they do courses. So what I did with them is went and joined Facebook groups for training and hiring in the rail industry, shared content, and more business have come through Facebook groups.
That's interesting, because I had heard that actually Facebook is quite a difficult platform to get any kind of engagement on.
Unless you're in the community groups.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
You can now schedule into community groups from Facebook scheduling tools.
Oh, can you? Interesting.
You can, as a lawyer, go and schedule into a group of 10,000 members who are other lawyers or small business network UK, which has 30,000, I think. You could go schedule content into there once a week. And if you do that over 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you're building that recognition up.
Interesting.
And you don't.
All the lawyers that are watching are like, "Oh, Facebook community groups." I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, I would. I mean, me as a business, I'm active a bit in them every week, and I've had in the past 3 months, 2-3 leads just from scheduling into them.
That's interesting. Okay, that's a good tip. Thanks for the top tip.
That's right. Obviously, I help you.
Tell me your 5 top tips for social media marketing. Yeah,
5.
3 to 5.
Okay.
I won't put you under too much pressure to come up with 5. 3 to 5.
3 to 5. That's almost what I say to you.
And then we'll draw to a close because we're both on a call in 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess the top 5 I would say is go and connect and engage with people in the spaces on socials where they are, target audience wise. Yeah. Post regularly, first of all.
And what do you mean by regularly?
Regularly is minimum 3 times a week. Try.
Right.
Minimum 3 times a week, posting across those platforms, because people are going to psychologically recognize you between 5 and 7, but 7 and 12 to buy from you. If you're posting 3 times a week, how many is that a month?
Interesting.
So that way you're going to reach those limits and build that awareness up, but you're also putting your face out there for them to understand who you are in 6 months when they need something in print, a lawyer or marketing. Yeah,
that's interesting actually, because people have literally started to say to me, "You are always at the top of my feed." I'm like, I'm really sorry. But that's the point, right? I was starting from scratch with literally 5 clients, And I needed to get brand awareness, and I needed to get it quickly. So I was like, how do I do that? Right, I've got to go in on LinkedIn. I need to be everywhere. And it's worked and it's paid off. But like I said, it wasn't an overnight thing.
No, certainly not. And that brings us to the third tip. Put your face in front, put a face to the brand, put a face to the name. If I tell you what, if I'm speaking, you're going to be hearing me right now, but you can see me. I'm a motive speaker. If I stand to the side and I'm just speaking like this, you're not going to recognize anything.
Yeah, that's weird, actually, isn't it? Yeah. Because we like to see faces, don't we?
Yes, hugely. If you give a picture of, say, a horse and a person, the majority of the people are going to buy the picture with the person.
Interesting.
Because it's relatable. We see people every day. We're born and see people straight away from the children. We're tuned in to speak to people. As a race, we crave socializing with people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I think lockdown proved that to all of us, didn't it? Where we all went a little bit mad from not being able to, be surrounded by the people that we care about. Just being face to face with people, having conversations. It was like, oh, this is really jarring. And for some people, actually, they liked it, right? But for many people, it was really difficult. So yeah, you're right. We are social creatures.
We were first met on Zoom in lockdown.
Yeah.
And we met for the first time 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, was it? That was weird. You were actually a real person.
Late in lockdown. I've lost 2 stones.
Yeah, too many pies.
too many pies and too many other things were consumed.
Yeah.
God. But they're my top 3. And if you're going to ask me to give you the last 2, I'll probably just create a strategy where you go and reach out to people. That's the biggest thing. Not trying to sell. If you can, there's a rule I always say is in your first 5 messages to somebody who is completely new to you, don't sell or talk about your business.
Yeah.
Use question-based content.
And what do you mean by that? Like, hey, how are you? Or something a little bit more.
If me and you never knew each other, I would go to something and say, hey, Catherine, senior and lawyer, hope that's correct. Just want to connect a bit more about what you do. Best Elliot. Okay. What I've just done there is, you tell me, I've just asked you a question, hope that's senior and lawyer, and hope that's correct. What are you going to do there?
I would answer that. I would say yes, because clearly I am from my profile. But I would probably at this point a little bit see through the tell me a little bit more about your business bit, because I'd be like, oh, here we go, he's trying to sell me something.
So I didn't say tell me. I said I would love to see a bit more about what you post.
Oh, okay. So that makes
that. And because you just said that, and obviously because I'm a lawyer, so you've agreed, you've recognized, I've acknowledged what you do and who you are.
Yeah.
So I've already made you feel valuable in that comment.
Yeah.
And then I've just told you my clear intentions. Interesting.
And then it's just about opening the lines of conversation, isn't it? And it's about getting to know somebody, because ultimately, you might engage with somebody and actually find that you don't really want to work with them.
No.
So going in on a kind of hard sell, I mean, for some people, they don't care, right? They don't care who they work with. They just want all of the clients and all of the customers. But I think I was very clear right from the beginning that I didn't want to just work with anybody. I'd spent a long time being told who I was working with from a client-based perspective. And I was like, I'm not for that anymore. And I don't ever want anyone who comes and works at Hooper Hyde to feel like they are compelled to work with someone they don't like. Life is too short, right? To work with people you don't like and you don't get on with. So I was like, I never want someone to have to do that. I'm never going to do that, or at least I'm going to do my best to avoid it. And I'm never going to force lawyers that come and work with us to do that either, because, it's too hard.
Yeah, you see so many people now changing their philosophy in business and being culture-first based businesses.
Yeah. So true.
It works really well when you're trying to market yourself.
Well, and people
way out of marketing, culture-first businesses just show people that you like to keep to your values. And if you're keeping to your values, what's that going to be like working with you?
Yeah, I really like that. Actually, I've never heard it described in that way. I see a lot of like client centric or client focused, and it's like, well, isn't that obvious? Because you're providing a service to your clients, so they kind of do need to be at the center of what you're doing. But yeah, I really like that. Culture first. That's cool.
You can use this one. That's not trademark.
Thanks.
That's fine.
Maybe we can trademark it.
We'll trademark it.
Yeah,
and I'll send you an invoice afterwards.
Exactly. What? I didn't agree to that.
Well, you're the lawyer. You can get out of it.
So is there anything that you want anyone that's watching to know about you, your business, what you're doing, what the future of Elliot Garley looks like? Is there anything you want anyone to know?
I think to give most value to the people who are connected to you, from my side of things, I'd probably say working with me, it's a chance to take your business in a direction and widen the perspective you didn't have before.
Yeah. And to learn, I think that's the other thing that actually you're really good at teaching people how to do things and why you're doing them and bringing all of the pieces together. And I think if somebody wants to learn, actually you do that really well, because you don't just go, well, we're doing it and that's it. You will actually explain the rationale behind something and how it fits into the bigger puzzle.
So too many people tell people what to do, though. Not enough people ask questions. There's one thing that I've really, really loving at the minute, and it's the fact that we listen to speak, we never listen to learn.
Yeah, so true. And actually, you have said that to me a few times, and I was on a client call earlier, and I realized that what I was doing was I had stopped listening and I was thinking about what I was going to say next, and I was like, no, stop that. You need to actually be listening to what the client is saying properly. So it's true. It is true. And I think it's a really good skill to learn to have, is to really listen. Well,
it's taken me 3 times to say it to you. If you now to start implementing it.
You have literally said it to me every time we've spoken.
Exactly. So now I've said that, you can.
Yeah, it's so good. Exactly.
But that's I tell you what, it does come from learning from other people, though.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to create all this knowledge. I'm the person to create methods using knowledge.
Yeah, but the thing is, we all have learned what we do from somewhere.
Oh, hugely.
All of us. I haven't suddenly created all of this law that is applicable to, the clients. I know the law that someone else has taught me, and that I learn from doing my own, because as a lawyer, you have to do what's called CPD, which is basically your professional development. So you have to sign off every year that you are doing whatever it is to make sure that you keep up with the law. So we're constantly having to learn anyway. But I only know what I know because someone, or I have learnt it somewhere else. I don't.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
We're all taught by someone.
We're all players in different games, but when you're creating a team, you want the best player for each team.
Yeah, absolutely. So true. It's so true.
And I took a lot of this away from a book which I read, and his name's Robert Greene.
Right.
Fantastic author. And it's what he writes is his aim is to make you a realist, a radical realist in some ways, and understanding the human nature and how people think and act.
Interesting.
But it
What's
gives
the
you.
book called?
It's called there's multiple. There's the main one I like is The Daily Laws by Robert Greene.
The Daily Law.
The Daily Laws, yes.
The Daily Laws.
I know you'd like that, so there's law in it.
I love that, yeah.
It's a law of power as well. There's all these different laws, but in this one book particularly, every month takes you a different stage of understanding people and yourself. And once you do that, you're then able, that's the one with an E at the end of the green. It's all right. I thought I'd just say anyway. But once you're able to do that, you can read one page for 365 days a day. And that's the idea.
Okay. I like that.
Just one page a day, the daily law to abide by.
I love that. I might get it. I haven't heard of that one. Okay, so one last question and then we'll go. What one book would you say that people need to read to get them started with social media marketing?
With social media marketing? Ooh.
Yeah. One book. I know which one I would pick.
It's the old thing, like Gary Vaynerchuk's book's great.
Oh, I have not read any of his. I find him a little bit grating. I'm not going to lie. People love him, and what he says makes sense, but I find him really a bit irritating.
But all of his knowledge comes from around him. It's not all just him, which is not with the thing. And so he brings other people's into his, even if it says it's his. But his book is great. Jab, jab, right hook. I think jab, 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 right hook is the book, if I remember the title properly. But there's a lot of the things. The main thing with social media, it's being accountable and doing it consistently. So if you want to read a book, just read Atomic Habits. Create habits of social media.
So it's about creating consistency.
Hugely. I mean, before we do end, I did some sessions with some clients for an organization for some of their members, and they wanted me to train them on LinkedIn and Canva and different socials. But at the start of the call, it's not what they needed. All they needed was to understand a strategy for them.
Interesting.
You can learn all the things in the world, but without the right strategy, you're not going to get to the end result.
Well, you can't, if you can't implement it, if you don't know how to implement it, because that's the biggest thing, isn't it? It's like you can learn all you want about how LinkedIn works and how Canva works and YouTube and all that sort of thing, but actually, if you have no strategy behind it, it's never going to provide you with any results.
Don't have a fur coat, and no, it's the one, all fur coat, no knickers.
No knickers, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, all the fur coats in the world, but no knickers.
Yeah. And on that note, that's going to be your catchphrase. That's our closing comment. All fur coat and no knickers.
Yeah, don't quote me as you put this out, all right?
Yeah, this is going to be on YouTube forever.
As well, and you've got quite a few connections that are going to see this as well.
Sorry.
It's fine if that's what they take away. Don't wear a fur
exactly.
coat.
All fur coat and no knickers. Elliot Garley. Job done.
Oh, okay.
With Elliot, thank you. I really appreciate you taking this.
Designer. Anyway, sorry.
Oh crap. Oh no, do you know what, Elliot? It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. You know, it's always really easy to talk to, and I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about working with you is you are really easy to get on with. And you know, if anyone's considering using a social media marketing strategist or marketing strategy as well, not just social media, then you know.
How often do we talk about social media?
Right? Yeah. Exactly. So so get in touch with Elliot because he's great.
Yeah.
And
that's it. After they got in touch with me, get you to their law. Yeah,
exactly. Always. Chris says I'm sharing that now. Oh, I think Chris might be sharing the fur coat and no knickers comment.
Chris, I will block you on LinkedIn if you try to tag me. I'm being honest.
Love it.
You should take that away, Chris. Not a problem. Just make sure you credit.
Brilliant. Okay. Thanks, Elliot.
No worries.
See you later.
See you later.